Cheers and enjoy the beers. Yes. Hello, good evening, and welcome. Good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. Welcome to another live show from Rascal and Disco Beer Review with me, Disco, here live in front of the cans and bottles on the bar at what I'm still hilariously calling the Disco Arms. I still should get that one written up properly, but there we go. Yeah, so it's Wednesday. No, it's Thursday. It's 9 o'clock, and it's time for another unboxing. Haven't done a beer unboxing for a while. It amuses me to get all these different beers in, even though, as I keep saying, I've got far too much in the stash. This one, as you can see, comes from McColls Brewery up in the northeast of England, an area I've got loads of beers from in the last few years. Probably, I would say, the third biggest area, biggest amount of beers I've got in the other side of Scotland and Yorkshire, even though part of the northeast is Yorkshire, as these discussions we have with Luke John as to where Yorkshire starts and stops from where the northeast is. But anyway, yeah, McColls Brewery. I've possibly done this a bit the wrong way round because I've put the first beer up from this box because it arrived late on Tuesday. It was a Black Friday deal. Got myself 20% off, and because I was already signed up for their newsletter or whatever, I got another 20% off, so 40% discount on the website, plus a few other little deals. And primarily because this is a beer, one of the beers in here I've had before several times, so I wanted to get it again this year. I think I missed out purposely last year. I can't fully remember. I'm not going to look at the list. What else I've got on this order? So it's a big old order, including a couple of packs, as it were. And I'm going to find out which one I'm going to drink because I'm not really sure, to be fair. So let's dive straight into the unboxing and then get a beer in the glass. Mr. Wilson, good evening to you. Thanks for popping in as well. Thanks to everybody else who's coming in or watching after the event. The other reason I picked it up is because, and I think this is it, yeah. As I mentioned on the show the other week, I smashed my Turning Point glass, didn't I? So I've been using other glasses, which have been fine. But I do... Oh no, that's the wrong thing. That's not the glass. I think this is the glass, supremely well packaged in the old Fraggle tape. Fraggle, yeah, I call it Fraggle tape because I tell people it's mine from a French mineral, Fraggle Rock, just to see who gets that dated reference. God, that's a dated reference now. That's terrible, isn't it? But yeah, I need a new glass because McColls happened to do one of the shape I favour, which is this one, as you know. You've seen me, I've got the Fuller's one from it. I still can't remember what they're called. They just called them a pint glass. Changed the logo recently. I do like pint glass with minimal logos on, so you can see the beer when I do the photographs. Never got the photographs up from the stream the other day because I've been at work for 2 days doing transfers and cleaning, as always, at a brewery. Hopefully I'll get a chance to address that again tomorrow and get the pictures up and the reviews up. But for now, that's my McColls glass that I'm going to choose one as we go through. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go, but let's just go through the unboxing first of all. First of all, we've got a Pilsner, simply called Crowded. Got a great taste award by the looks of it. I've heard about them. I think Creative Juices got one of those recently. I'm not really sure what they're all about. I'm definitely not drinking that one tonight because I've got a couple of other Pilsners in I've kind of collected. Don't need to get any more in the stash, but I did. So I might just do a Pilsner show, a British Pilsner show, because I've done various other types. I like to, I've got 2 of them just to be sure. But yeah, because I like to group things together in various themes. So I think I'll do a Pilsner show at some point. What else we've got? We've got one called Fest. Been really keen on the lagers recently. I have had this one before. I'm sure I had this last year, and I believe it's good. And I think, if I remember rightly, Johnny at Craft Beer Channel absolutely rates that one. I was going on about that one the other day. So I was happy to get a couple of those in. Playing fast and loose with the old Fest logo, Fest colour in there, but I quite like it. Quite good. Now we've got yet another Pilsner, a New Zealand Pilsner. Talking about the Craft Beer Channel, this was a collab with Wild Horse Brewing in Wales for the Craft Beer Channel's beer festival. I think it was because Johnny liked that fest one so much, he got him to do another one in a New Zealand Pilsner. It's called a Talk It Over. So I don't think I'll do that one tonight either. I can't remember which one I was going to do now. Also got a little pack, which I think duplicates most of the beers I've already said. It's weird that they put them in that, but yeah. So what else was in the pack? I didn't get the singles off. I had an extra pale ale called Coast. 5%, jolly good, nicely strengthed. This one is called Salute, a dry noble beer. I was looking at this one. There's a really good range of hops in there, I think. A classic Belgian style saison, which always amuses me. I'm never really sure. Brewed with a blend of East Kent Goldings and a newly developed sustainable hop variety, Tango. Expect a light yet complex beer. Okay, well, something a little bit different. Yeah, try not to break your new glass. Well, there's always other ones available, but yeah, I certainly don't want to break it by knocking it off of here for a start. What else was in this pack? Interesting little one, a strong amber beer at 6.3 called Conquer. I'm imagining some kind of nuttiness or something like that. I don't remember that being in the pack, but never mind. A summer beer, 4.3% straw-coloured spritzy pale. Spritzy, not sure about that, but sunshine in a can, an absolute summer smash. Double dry hopped, I usually avoid them. Super spritzy and bursting with zesty hoppy summer aroma. Continental and US hops. Yeah, not one I'll probably feature particularly. But then another Fest beer. I don't remember that being in there either. That's why I got the 2 Fests. Anyway, so the whole point of this order, really, apart from the glass, is this little can of chaos. Beetroot Biere de Garde. They called it Beets this year. I don't think it used to be. It just used to be called Biere de Garde, Beetroot Biere de Garde. So a kind of Belgian style red ale with copious amounts of beetroot. 7.5%. I have featured it before, but I don't think I've ever got around to doing a video review of it. A special continental style beer with beetroot. Beets is a complex and boozy beer, but surprisingly easy drinking. Bright with a crimson hue, Beets gives you earthy and sweet notes of beetroot, while its high carbonation, malt character, and 6 weeks of maturation make it velvety smooth to drink. Now, it did just occur to me now as I was doing the write-ups for these. Yeah, I've got a couple more of them. And the other thing that I started unwrapping, which kind of comes in a set with the beetroot. It comes in a set with a beetroot beer and a pint glass, but I got it offset, but I thought I'd get that in anyway. It's called The Beat Goes On and it's made from that beer, but it's a beetroot hot sauce. Now, I'm not a big fan of hot sauce generally, but we'll see how the beetroot goes in that. That'll be interesting. Won't be eating that on a show or anything like that, or doing any kind of eating challenges with it. But yeah, reasonable little selection there. That's 50 quid's worth. Also got free delivery. So I've got a couple of orders out of McColls before, mostly for this beer, and with some other stuff. So I'm sort of like, I'm a bit betwixt and between. I probably should do the beetroot because the other two beers have some form of red. And because I've got three, do you know what? Yeah. Let's start off. With a big beer to start with. I'll tell you what, also that means we're going down the range. Different selection to I've been getting more and more into my lagers, mostly off the back of the fact that we brew a pilsner. So I'm looking at other pilsners and trying to compare. In a way, Fest beer is always going to interest me. I don't necessarily need 3 cans of that, but that may have been a mistake. But as one, I could just reach into the stash and just grab a lager. I might often start on a lager. So it's either that, or I think I might do, I don't know whether to do the Conquer, strong amber ale. I'm not sure about that spritzy summer ale either. That'll just be one I can just not have to think about. I might do that Salute though, see what that's all about. Yeah, so I didn't need that many more beers, but I just kind of got embroiled in the whole Black Friday business. Anybody else get mugged off? Not mugged off, because you get good stuff by the Black Friday discounts and stuff. I think beer is about the only time I do. I didn't really need any new tech or any of the other rubbish, and I don't do online shopping really, apart from beers, particularly an occasional gadget. But yeah, do you know what? So let's do the beetroot beer. It excites me. I'm interested in it. It's a bit weird. Definitely not the weirdest beer I've ever put into a glass, as you know, probably. But yeah, I've had dinner, but there's almost like one of your 5 a day probably in it as well. So really deep coloured can. So in my new glass, it's clean. There's no dust. Let's go. 4. Beer number 1, please. Oh, can't put the banner up. I can't put the banner up because I haven't completed it because I didn't know which one I was bleeding doing. So here we go. Just for completeness, you know, I like to be complete about it. How do you spell that? Biere de Garde. .5% beetroot. Yeah. What do we decide it was? Yeah, it just says beer with beetroot. It doesn't give a particular style. Right, so show that. Let's go in with a 7.5% beetroot beer to start off with. Now I'm expecting, well, in fact I know because I've seen it before. What I don't know, I can't remember, is just how red it's going to be. So it's looking a touch thinner than I actually remember it on previous iterations. Pouring into the glass, but plenty carbonation. Nice bubbly head developing. Masses of creaminess. Slightly kind of off-white. Don't know if you can see that. But yeah, it's not actually a red ale. It's not described as a red ale. But there is definitely some amount of red fizzing through the carbonation there. And as David Wilson, as always, thank you very much for he reminds me. Let's get the photo out of the way. Yeah, so I love asking the question, but I'll ask it again whilst I'm doing the photo. Beetroot in a beer, is that weird? Is it the weirdest you've seen? I've had one or two other beetroot beers. Team Toxic did one. Can't quite get the naming rights properly. We'll see how that comes out. Got an auto flash. Yeah, that looks nice. Just going to do that one again. See how that comes out. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, no, what do you think about beetroot? And what is the weirdest adjunct you've had in a beer? It's not beetroot for me. Unusual, but would try. It's okay in red velvet cake. Does red velvet cake have beetroot in it? Or is that how they make it red? That had never occurred to me, to be honest. I just thought it was red. I don't know, food colouring. I've had beetroot and chocolate cake before. That's pretty nice. Chocolate mostly just overalls the beetroot. It's, again, pretty weird. But yeah, a kind of slightly coppery red on that. Loads of carbonation racing up the glass. I don't know if you can see that, but there you go. Good head retention. The nose is clear, so let's have a look. Don't go around sniffing beetroot. Funny enough, I did have some slices of beetroot in my sandwich for lunch today, but don't know, what does it smell like? Mostly beetroot smells like vinegar because you would normally just have pickled beetroot, but none of that in this. No, it's a slightly earthy smell, a slightly fruity note. Yeah, nothing much massively stand out for me. Let's check the flavour of beetroot. Cheers. Yeah, so I'm getting a kind of earthy red ale note. Earthy in a good way. I normally use earthy to describe hops, but it's more like quite robust. It's flavoursome, but it's got that. I know we had a discussion a while back about red ales, but I always find red ales a bit rough around the edges. They've got that sort of burr on the edge. It's a little bit rough. A little bit drying, sometimes slightly cloying. This one's got a sort of fruitiness, but there's a kind of earthy. I imagine it to be like similar to freshly pulled root vegetables. You know what I mean? Like if you eat a carrot, there's a little bit of dirt on it, or whether there's that kind of. It's not unpleasant. It's not wrong. It's just So there's a little bit of like savouriness, a little bit of like vegetable like savouriness, like I say. Gives you earthy and sweet notes of beetroot. Well, it's high carbonation, malt character, and 6 weeks of maturing make a velvety. I don't think it's velvety smooth. I think when you say velvety smooth, you think, I mean, you can get that like when you have like a pillowy oat note in a pale or a velvety chocolate stout or something. For me, that's kind of too thin a beer. Again, not a criticism. It's too thin a beer to be velvety. A sort of the mouthfeel is more. Yeah, it's more robust. and brusque than that. There is a smoothness in a way. The kind of fruit notes are fairly smooth, not quite smoothie like, but yeah, interesting beer. Really, it surprised me again the second and third time. I think this is I've had it now. I've definitely had it at least twice before, but not for a couple of years. I didn't go for it last year. Again, I had too much beer in the stash, so I knew what it was. But it amused me enough to go for it again. I'm fairly certain I didn't do a video of it. I'm not going to get around to doing a video of it, even though I'm off tomorrow. I've got a bundle of other things to do. It's getting to the point where I'm not going to get videos out anytime soon. It takes me all of 10 minutes or so now to set up a live stream and even do the photographs and the introduction. So there's not a lot of work on that, but a video for me takes so much longer. Because I can't just turn the TV up, I can't just turn the camera on like I do with a live and talk and then put it up, because there'll be mistakes, there'll be things like not working right. So I kind of have to do the lives for now until I can get the video out. I don't know. People watch the live, so thank you very much for coming along. Like I say, it's worked out so far. There's a slight kind of that you notice the 7.5% suddenly. Well, I do. You just notice the 7.5% is like a slight, not barrel aging almost, but a slight, bigger alcohol note, slightly spirity on the back edge. But I'm sure you can make spirits with beetroot, but I don't know what the spirit of beetroot would be. Yeah, it's sort of, it slips down easy enough, so it's kind of smooth in that way. It's one I think I probably would be taking a bit longer to drink. There's that savouriness, a little bit of saltiness there, a bit of salinity going into that as well now. It's definitely got enough interesting notes to keep going back to take a sip for. There's good sweetness on it though, like latterly. Having seen adjuncts go into beer now, I can only imagine what this must do to brewing equipment if you put that much beetroot in. I wonder how much beetroot there is in there, but they don't say. I just saw some hop notes on there as well, so let's have a look. I can't get, but well, fair play though. Fair play to McColls. Actually put the ingredients on. Tell you the malt as well. Lager malt, Munich, Vienna, Imperial. Okay, that's a kind of slightly darker end of your pale malts, really. Munich and Vienna. Just says beetroot and a bit of wheat. Hop. Oh, here. Wow. Okay. Hops. T90 SARS. Didn't know there was a T90 version of SARS. And Fuggles. And a Nottingham Abbey yeast. So a kind of Belgian style yeast. That's where they get there. But yeah, SARS and Fuggles. Unusual, an interesting combination. That said, as I mentioned a while back, you get SARS in Stella, so it's a kind of Belgians have got form for using SARS, or whether it's Belgian grown or whether it's Czech SARS, I don't know. But I mean, I always find, well, I think I said it on Tuesday, didn't I? Talking about SARS, I find it gives it that extra kind of vegetal, kind of savoury note to a Pilsner, which for me, like we were saying there, about too much lager, just average lagers, but the SARS hop kind of gives it that extra note, that extra edge, like crisp freshness and slightly savoury and vegetal kind of notes. So I can see thinking about it like that, I can see why they would put it in this beer. It's like, yeah, makes sense. Along with Fuggles, which for a British hop is traditionally not one of my favourites. I used to have beers, I think, drinking beers from Kent with British hops in that were just overly hopped or too hoppy or getting grapefruit, but totally works in this one. It has got, and again, got that kind of earthy note, but it's got the earthy note that I used to talk about with like Kent hops, so, but not the grapefruit end of the spectrum, which is good. And all the better for the new pint glass, I think. Let's have a quick look then. I do like to have a little look around rather than just me waffling on. Forgot to load this one up there. Let's have a quick look at the website, see if they still got the discounts on. Should anybody else fancy a little peruse? Yep, I've gone down to the non-discounted price of before, so I think I got a good deal on this one, to be fair. £6 these are normally. Yeah, I paid far less than that. In fact, I paid far less than the Beets box there on the left. Combined with the old 40% discount on Friday. But the rest of them, really sensibly priced, really. $3.50 for a can of Pilsner. And the other ones, I avoided the Lowlands hoppy pale beer because it has the word hoppy in it. Don't seem to have got really much left on. Oh no, that's the cores. That's the core beers. It's weird that Beetroot is a core beer, but they bring it out once a year. There's the pack. I got the seasonal 6-pack. I didn't check that because I didn't notice that Fest being in there as well, but never mind. But yeah, all in all, I'm quite happy with that order with those beers. I say have a different look at some lagers. I didn't see that West Coast IPA. I know it's sold out. That's why I didn't even see it on there, let alone see it was sold out. Let's have a look at their story because I've seen McColls for a while. Established in 2016. I've certainly been aware of them since at least 2019. The brewery, which houses our 32 hectolitre brew house, capable of making over 6,000 pints per batch. I still don't understand numbers like that. Not great with numbers. Produces a wide variety of easy drinking craft beers. You can see this year's beer calendar here. From initial concept to final packaging and then dispense, we take great care to make that everybody does that. You hope. Oh, that's interesting. Actually, have a brew schedule. Brew crowded Pilsner all year round and a session IPA all year round. That's interesting. That Let's Eat Pies, I have featured that's a collab with a local men's mental health charity, although they do different versions of that. See, the Beat de Garde there comes as a one-off. Oh, it's one-off for 2024, so they'll do that once a year. Don't know why it's got March, and yet it's out in November, December. It hasn't been there sitting there since March. I'm fairly certain. Saw it best before. 31st of the 10th, 25. More in-date beer shocker from Disco. As I say, it's coming on this order, so. Anybody else having a beer tonight? I forgot to ask that one. Anybody else got anything in the glass? Do let us know. Let's have a chat about that. Some good lacing on that glass as it goes down. Fair play. Ah. Erdinger, Oktoberfest. Jolly good. I've seen various reviews of that, not necessarily positively, but I'd try it. I just never rushed out to do Oktoberfest this year. Again, far too many beers in, didn't really want to go and get another bunch, but yeah, I didn't go out for Oktoberfest either. There was one in the park in Ealing that I thought about going to, but I never made it. Right, an Audi one. Yep. Didn't end up going to Aldi for anything really. My local Aldi's not that good, so I have a fairly boring range of beers. I like this. It's interesting. It's different. It's got that kind of odd flavour to it. I'm still not sure beetroot massively comes through as a particular flavour. I can't identify the flavour that says, "Oh, that's definitely beetroot," apart from the colour and the sort of savouriness. I'm not sure beetroot has much of a flavour unless you like pickle it and you get that vinegary note. But yeah, really pleased with that one. I think that'll hold up enough that I'm going to put that to one side. Different is good. Yeah, it's a really different texture. I could say that kind of slight raspiness, kind of sawn wood kind of roughness. You know what I mean? Like, not like I go around licking wood. I have a specific aversion to that. But yeah, some good sweetness, good flavour. So I got sidetracked there with a picture of Andy Rasco from Pig's Ear Beer Festival, as I was talking about on Tuesday night. And he's popped along, got a few beers on, so fair play. Haven't seen a lot of other stuff from there, but there you go. I'm not going to make it over there because of like being at work and whatever. So yeah. Yeah, so I'm going to put that aside. It'll hold up for now because I want to crack on. And quick palate cleanse. I don't think. Well, next one's a 7% as well, so I don't think it's going to matter too much. But there's a bit of fruitiness going down the scale, and then something big but less at the end. Something to bounce off that kind of beetroot fruitiness. I think this next beer probably will do that. So let's dive straight in with beer number 2, please. And beer number 2 is a show about beers from north. Is probably slightly further north than McColls. To be fair, it's from a Twice Brewed brew house and pub up just below Hadrian's Wall. And yes, we'll use the other glass ones there. It is a 7%. It's called Fauna Beer Rouge, oaked red grape and cherry ale. Again, there's some sort of describing itself as a red ale, so I think it's like a a pale ale, those fruit additions. I have, again, full disclosure, had this one before. I can't remember if I did a review of it or not, though, because I bought a couple of cans when I got the order in back end of last year, to be fair, so I'm going to be pushing it on the date with this one, but it's fairly strong enough, it should be okay. Plenty of carbonation in the glass, pouring out nice and strong with a much deeper, more crimson-y kind of red colour. I love the can art on this one. Looks kind of oldie worldy, kind of more traditional style, kind of Belgian-y kind of notes. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce that because I don't know if it's French, Belgian, or whatever particular dialect of Belgian it might be, or whatever. So yeah, it looks kind of dark on the camera, and it is kind of dark red. Now it's in the glass. I'm going to do the photo anyway and see if I've already reviewed it. Oh, we'll have to have the glass facing the right way. That comes out quite nice on regular mode. Somewhere else tonight, regular mode is okay. I don't actually need the portrait mode. Although I'm still impressed with that. That was pretty good. Can looks better on one than the other. And that head has dissipated since I've done that. So yeah, another red beer. Oak to red grape. It'd be interesting to know what oak to red grape. Is it just red grape stored in an oak barrel? Let's have a look. Red fruit beer. It says on the back of the can, different descriptor entirely. 7%, packed full of red grape and cherry. This bold and decadent fruit beer also delivers flavours of damson and blackberry, rounded out with a hint of oak and spice. A delightful sipping beer. Ingredients, apart from the usual: cherry juice, red grape juice, plums. Hence that damson note, I guess. Yeah, actually, the address is actually Hadrian's Wall. Say this one's been sitting in the stash for a while, so yeah, back to normality. Best before August 24, only a couple of months. I'd seen Twice Brewed around quite a lot. It was another one of those breweries that kind of stuck out to me because they've been quite prolific for a small brewery. They are banging out a lot of beers, and they've got a lot of good sounding beers. Let me tell you more about that. I'll get into this one first of all. Yeah, definitely a little bit of plum on the nose. General fruitiness. Smells somewhere between a wine and the little I had last week for the first time in 20 years, and it's a company that no longer exists. Down at Cheddar Gorge used to be a cheddar spirit company, and they had a bramble brandy. This beer actually smells somewhere between that and red wine. Really nice fruit flavour. See, that has dissipated, but it looks like some good lacing on there. Let's have a little chuck it down the neck and see what we get. Cheers. Oh yeah. Yeah, there's some big fruit notes on that. I must have had it fairly fresh because I think I picked it up in, what was it, October? The reason I went for it, the reason I got the try, because I've seen them before on Instagram, and they got so many beers on their website, I couldn't quite decide which ones to get, so I ended up leaving it. And the only reason I pulled the trigger and got the beers in is because if you remember that There was that story around about then. In fact, I did it the day after about the tree at Hadrian's Wall. I did a video of it, the Sycamore Gap tree that got felled, and there's still a lot of news around it. That court case is still ongoing about that. I was oddly watching stuff about that today. Strange how the algorithm works, but yeah. So I pulled the trigger, got the Sycamore Gap ale that they do, the pale ale, and the bottles, and I got a bunch of cans. I've still got one more left. I've got an orange beer, which I did briefly consider doing, but then I put this on in because of the red beers around it, and because it's like it fitted in with that nice northeast kind of thing from McColls. So yeah, really nice fruit notes to it. Good. It's definitely like that plum or damson jam note going on, like you get in plum porter. I've got that in. I've got to do that as well. That Titanic plum porter, the port infused plum porter, and the amaretto infused cherry porter. And I can't help thinking a cuvee of those two would be something like this. But it's also got those red wine notes to it with the grapes. And I'm not a big wine drinker. In fact, I don't really drink wine at all. I turned down a glass of red wine of mulled wine this week because I just wasn't really that bothered. I haven't drunk wine for a long time, but there is that note of it there. Yeah, somewhere between red wine and bramble brandy, and a touch of plum porter in there. For as thin as that poured into the glass, there is that kind of also that slightly voluptuous note, for slightly syrupy note, maybe not in a bad way. Yeah, I love a bit of balance. 1 out of date, 1 in date, and I'm not sure about the other one actually. I can't remember where I got the third one in. Shark, thanks for popping in. How you doing, sir? How is the business end of the week for you? Cheers. Yeah, really weird. Well, not weird, but just a really good combination. Just kind of unusual. You don't see that much. Not getting much on the oak, particularly. There's a sort of slight, maybe woody note in the background, perhaps. More viney than wood, perhaps. See what this on the front says. Unless it's just a translation. Biere aromatis aux raisins rouges et à la cerise agi un chien. Isn't that chicken? A chien. Yeah, I don't know me Belgian well enough. Yeah, once again, don't really tell you what the grist is. They don't tell you what the yeast is. Vegan friendly, and they got an award as well. Yeah. As I say, all the other beers I had from them were really solid, to be honest. And this one's no exception. Really flavourful. Great taste, unusual notes. Okay. Oh, right. So, yeah. You won't be surprised to hear that I'm not. Celebration. Yeah, anyway. There's another fruit I was trying to pick out. There's a little bit of raspberry in there in a way. Tell you where that oaked nature comes in. It's a little bit drying after a while, a little bit a little bit kind of, kind of slightly coconutty dryness. Any idea what the twice brewed on a can refers to? Well, it's Twice Brewed Brewery, and it's brewed out the back of a pub, I believe. Let's have a look, actually. Let's have a look, see if we can find the relevance of Twice Brewed. Oh, anybody would think I didn't know what I'm doing. There you go. Am I 18? Yes, indeed, I am. Well, that's the size of the brew. Oh, they must have bigger ones than that, I think. Let's have a look. Brewery. I know it's right in front of Twice Brewed Brewco's. No, don't say why. There's no about us section. I do like an about us section. Oh, Coventina, that's the one I've actually got left over from that previous one. I've done the Juno beers as well, or a couple of them. I was hoping to get the full set, but I just left it too long, and ended up going for it along with the old Juno glass. Oh, that's a great name. That's a great name for a beer brewed in front of Hadrian's Wall. Ale Caesar. Although it's an American amber ale. Surely you're doing Italian Pilsner or something. Yeah. And there's the Sycamore Gap Pale Ale. They do a Sycamore Gap Lager as well. Just to extend the theme, I guess, is the tree, or the former tree as it is now on the label. See what they've got on the roster just at the moment. It's always quite a lot of beers. Oh, right, okay, sorry. I thought you meant it was like, is it relevant to like double mashing or something, or like, yeah. But yeah, anyway, they do an odd mix of cans and bottles. I guess they're having just moved into cans, I guess, recently. They make great mention of like that kind of Roman connection as well. Various different Czech style lagers in that Juno range. The amber one, I could do with getting hold of that. Tiny European cars, don't know why. These some quite good names. Kiwi and Lime Milkshake, the Big Kiwi. With Harrogate Brewery, that's another good brewery up that way. I still haven't got around to getting anything from. I don't know why kiwi and lime in a milkshake. It just curdle. Some Big Dippers. See, all these cans, they've got so much. Oh, yeah, these are the ones. Blue raspberry sour, green apple sour, and an iron brew sour now as well. If I remember rightly, that one is bright, almost illuminous green. And I think they do another one called Toxic Juice or Toxic Sludge, which is even more neon green. That iron brew sour is interesting. I've been seeing a couple of other. There we go, Toxic Juice. That's the one. Green slime sour. A thick green sour beer that is super fruity. Expect a signature tangy, zingy, sweet and sour beer with bold fruit flavors of mango, passion fruit, raspberry and orange, with notes of lime and rhubarb. That's complex. If wrapped up in a vibrant green 6.1% beer that also glows under UV light. There's a lot in that beer. For £4 a can, a 6-pack at 24 quid, £4.10 a can. I said I was shit at numbers earlier, but yeah. That's one I want to get. I think they kind of keep redoing that one, so I might at some point. Oh, hello. I hadn't seen this one before. Ah, right. So this is like the sister to this one called Flora. And that makes a lot of sense. That's brilliant. So this one's called Fauna, and Flora is the white grape version. White grape Brut ale. Do you remember when Brut IPA was a thing? I really didn't like Brut IPA because I don't like wet wood. I have an aversion to lollipop sticks, so I never really found Brut IPAs to be very palatable on my tongue, to be fair. But I might try that. A combination of white grape juice and Nelson Sauvin hops, which give that kind of grape note, supposedly. Although, as I found out the other day, I still don't think it does, for me anyway. Conditioned on toasted French oak. Beer and wine collide. Yeah, despite that brute business, I quite like that. I got low alcohol one as well. Yeah, so a hell of a range for what really appears to be quite a small brewery out the back of a pub. Knocking out casks as well by the looks of it. I got tap room, as I say, because in a pub. So yeah, I really like Twice Brewed. I've seen a few other people review it, but some of them probably are. I mean, it does say in this one, it does say grape juice and cherry juice rather than actual fruit, but I sort of can understand a little bit, because you might as well just have the super concentrated flavour of that, but it's really difficult in a brewery to get that, price point or whatever. Brew IPA, no, yeah, wasn't that great an idea, but it was one of those things. But that said, like I say, we had a best bitter where willow bark and oak blocks went into either a boil or ferment, to be fair, and it had that kind of slightly woody note, but not fully. So I'm not against trying it if you like that sort of thing. Fair play. But that one's really nice because it's got that kind of red grape element. You're generally meant to not really mix the two, wine and beer, but if you're putting grapes in it, fair play. Again, it's got that slightly spirity kind of, because of the slightly higher ABV wine kind of edge. The only thing about a Brut IPA was how dry it was. I don't really like dry. That's the thing. I get that woody note and that kind of dry and slightly cloying thing. I don't want dryness. I don't. For me, it's just not. Sometimes it works, but yeah, I want big, fruity, refreshing. I drink beer to get refreshed. I don't get drinking a liquid to dry out the palate. It's like, I just want big fruity notes, big easy drinking notes, and brute stuff and that kind of drying note just doesn't really, never really sat that well for me. So yeah, I wasn't fast. I tried a few. It was all right, but it didn't stand out. Still a fair bit of fizziness in that as well. Had the Vault City Grape version of Bucket. Oh right, it was awful. That beer sounds more like what I was expecting. Okay. Yeah, I missed out on that one again. Vault City banging out so many decent sounding beers, even though they're all sour. But I've never got around to it. But yeah, it's a long time since I've drunk Buckfast, to be honest. great version of Buckfast. Yeah, I can see that actually. Yeah, it's kind of tonic wine kind of notes because of that kind of plumminess, that jamminess kind of thing, and the nominally high ABV. So yeah, yeah. As you know, I love something a bit different like that, a bit unusual. Whether I get around to trying that Flora, the white grape version of this or not, I don't know. If I'd noticed that, I can't be bothered. There's half a dozen breweries that I need to get more beers from, and they've all got a lot on there, really. So yeah, it would have been interesting to do that side by side if they have them out at a time. Just tasted of grape and way too acidic. A great version of bucket. I don't mind. I like grapes, but as I say, it's very difficult in a beer because you take it to that winey end if you get the acidity wrong. I prefer red grapes to white grapes. They're not white; they're green. We did a sour last year. We normally do every year. We didn't do it this year though, but it was a blackberry sour, and then we kind of had so much of it that they put a bit aside back into the fermenter on crushed red grapes. So they grow grapes on the farm in large quantities or whatever, and then they crush them, get the juice, sell the juice. And we took the grape skins, put it back in the fermenter on that, and it came out. It was just like probably upped the percentage a little bit as well, and it came out like super smooth, super fruity, really good fruit notes. Sour. It was, yeah, really. We just it was called Very Berry. We called it Very Berry on Grape. Really nice, but didn't do it this year. Sadly, we could have done with the grapes, but yeah, didn't get around to it. There wasn't that many blackberries about so much this year. So yeah. So yeah, we'll use grape juice, but well, yeah. So two quite unusual beers so far: beetroot, grape, and cherry, and two red beers. Still love the colour on that one. Still a lot of carb in that. So kind of rustic browny red and a deep maroon kind of red on the grapes. Well, we're well over the time allotted. I normally a lot for drinking beers on this show. Yeah. Do bear with. Time for an interlude, I think. Back in a bit. So, cheers and enjoy the beers. Yay, welcome back to part 2 of tonight's show. The new live show, number 44. Drinking some red ales red beers from up north of Disco. Rascal and Disco Beer Review. Cheers. Seamless, absolutely seamless, wasn't it? So yeah, so I've had Beetroot and I've had red grape. I'm going to put that one aside because I'm going to move on to the next beer. But happy to come back to that next time. Lovely red grape flavour, like plumminess, damson, good fruit notes from Twice Brewed up at Hadrian's Wall. So, always seem to do beers in threes on the show. So let's go to beer number 3, please. Beer number 3, kind of going back to an old favourite for something very, very different indeed. Talks about Brass Castle a lot. Bought the t-shirt, never worn it. I was going to for this one, but it's in there in the middle, in the corner. Couldn't get to it. And I like the fact it says quality control. You can't actually see that, and can you on screen? I think I'm some sort of quality control for breweries, at least quality of a flavour and beer notes. Hey, I'm gonna put it up there so I don't forget. I rarely do branded glasses. Well, I like to if I can. I've got the McColls one in specially for that. But yeah, I've got the old Brass Castle glass. Not my favourite shape of glass, even for drinking Brass Castle beers. But if I do a Brass Castle beer, I tend to do it in a branded glass just because I think it kind of works, mostly for the photographs. Yeah, so this one, Popobawa. It's a bit of a mouthful. Popobawa, 5.6% spiced red ale. Haven't read it on the side, so I'm not sure what that means, but it just says, yeah, spiced red ale. Vertical can wrap. Not a fan of it, but I do love their artwork. I say I've featured Brass Castle many, many times, like I say, after North East Yorkshire. It kind of fits in with the North theme because it's North Yorkshire, which is close enough. Let's get this red ale into a glass and find out how spicy, what the spices are, see what I can pick up. The nose is bunged up again. Well, I say red ale. I mean, yeah, there's tinges of red there, but it's definitely more the kind of copper, orangey kind of colour. A bit darker on the screen again, but from here, a bit of light behind it. Much more orangey. I think I'll use the white one. They've got a white logo and a black logo on the glass. Love the logo. As I've said before, many times you turn it upside down, it looks the same. An angiogram. Something to do with a heart. I keep forgetting what it's called, but there's a scientific name for it. Drawn in such a way that if you turn it upside down, it looks exactly the same. It's always difficult with this. That's why I don't really like, as much as I love Brass Castle, I don't fully like that vertical beer name on the edge because then you can't see the bleeding artwork, and the artwork's great. I want artwork and then the beer name down there, so you have to kind of turn it through 90 degrees to get a bit of both. Doesn't help with the old photography. But, you know, I don't think Brass Castle are going to change, to be honest. I tell you what, they have changed, and I do like the fact they've changed their pump clips to have like castle ramparts, which is a really good pump clip. They do quite well on the cask. They're quite keen on cask production. Up in Malton in North Yorkshire, also home of the Yorkshire pudding beers. Let me just do that one again because I'm too much of a perfectionist. Had a Brass Castle beer yesterday. Put that up on the old Instagram. The blueberry beer. I featured it on here a while back in range 3 blueberry beers. So I do like Brass Castle. It's probably one of the breweries I've gone back to the most, I think, up in North Yorkshire. But they've got that silver and black outlined camera. It's really difficult to photograph, really difficult in the light. But greetings, Stu from the Lagerlogs. Happy damn Thursday to you too. Thank you very much for popping in. Having a little beer from up to north. Well, in fact, 3 beers from up to north. So far, we've gone Beetroot, Grape, and now we're on a spiced red ale. Let's see what we can find. Snoz is blocked up again as soon as I said it was clear. See what we can smell for stars. Tell me how spiced it is. I'm hoping it'll clear the old nasal passage. Whoa! Yeah, that has kind of cleared the nasal passages. Definitely got a bit of cinnamon. There's some other spices in there too. Something a bit spicier, like, I don't know, maybe cumin or something like that, or maybe coriander, I suppose. Coriander seed. I'm not sure there's not a bit of black pepper there as well. It's a very mouth-watering type aroma, like reminiscent of when you first smell foods, like suddenly a bit of salivation. There's a bit of savouriness in there. I just saw it as a spiced red ale, so I naturally assumed kind of like Christmassy kind of spices, like, you know, cinnamon and like maybe some ginger. That says ginger now. I just don't know how it is. I haven't read the side of the can, but there's quite a lot of ingredients on there. So, right, good head retention. It's dissipated a lot, but yeah, still a small amount of head. It's quite like kind of ice creamy at the moment. Anyway, spiced red ale. Cheers. Oh, hello. There's a little bit of I don't know if it's like chili or it's like there's a very warming note on the back end of that. That's very interesting. There's quite a bit of complexity to that as well. Oh. That's yeah. Oh, that's a very warming ale. Really good for this time of the year. That's got some interesting mouthfeels, that has, of spice. Let's have a look. I don't know. I said cinnamon, but that's kind of a little bit of sweetness for it. But let's have a look. Right. Spiced red ale with cumin. Now, you're going to have to believe me, I generally didn't read this beforehand. I looked at that and I generally don't read it, but because I like to try and see what I can get, right? Spiced red ale with cumin, chili, ginger, cardamom. That's what I'm thinking of. Had that cardamom stout the other day. The Doris Gets Her Oats had a very kind of like that kind of spicy, warming note to a stout. So yeah, cumin, chili, ginger, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, and black pepper. Wow, I'm never sure about cloves. When it's well hidden, fair enough. But yeah, and there is black pepper in there. Wow. Ingredients: blah, blah, barley, wheat, rye. Okay. That accounts for that kind of slightly woodiness, I think. Cumin, peppercorns, chili. Doesn't say what chili. Be interesting to know. It's not like massively, but it's amongst those other spices with that kind of warming note. Also, the ginger. Get that more now. Cardamom, cloves, cinnamon. So yeah, that's a lot of interesting ingredients. To put in a big old beer, it's only come out 5.6, so it's not like mega strong or out, but lots of interesting flavours there. Really, I don't know if it needs all of those, and I can't pick them all out, although I'd pick a couple out. But black pepper definitely got that kind of spike, that kind of slightly warming note of black pepper as well. I wonder what the chilies are. They're not. I don't think they're like massively like spicy chilies. It's just like a bit of medium heat to it because it's not burning. It's just well spiced, well flavored. I wonder if I don't know. I wonder if that's. Let's stick with this one. Like this is not a chili challenge or anything, but yeah, I think it's going to get warmer. It's going to get spicier as it goes down. Yeah, a really interesting selection on the beer on this one on the flavors on that. Great choice of beers today, Disco. That one sounds interesting. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it's mainly because they all go together from being from that northeast side of the country. Although cheated with this one being North Yorkshire, but yeah, and also they did have slight. I wasn't actually going to do that one. It was only because I did the unboxing. I thought I was probably going to have the amber or one of the other lagers, and I thought as I got it out, and I'm like, hang on a minute, it's red as well. So yeah, let's do that. Three different red beers. See, that's a red ale, and it's not. I mean, I'm not complaining. It's not really come up that red, I don't think. It looks more orangey amber. Not complaining. I don't think it's that red. I guess like from the rye, I guess that's the where they're going for. But the flavour on that, I always forget to check what I do now with the date. I always have a little message on the underside of cans, of Brass Castle cans. Don't understand this one. This one says, "This Batman does," but it doesn't say what. What, as opposed to any other Batman? Interesting. Anyway, best before 29th of the 11th, 2024. It has been there a while. I normally pick Brass Castle up direct. I think I put this one in on the back end of a Trembling Madness order just down the road in York. It's kind of, there's a bit more warmth there now. It's kind of leveling up a little bit. Oh, it's really interesting. Look at that lacing. Like it's kind of leveling the lacing. So yeah, a few weeks out of date technically. Well, a week out of date technically. Has your tongue turned red from the beer? To do that, to find out, I'm going to have to put my tongue up to the camera, and that is probably not a good idea. No, I don't think it has. It's kind of red anyway. I don't think it has turned red, so no. But yeah, box of Fierce beer. Oh, Fierce is another one on the list that I keep looking at because of Cafe Racer and all their stouts that Fierce do, and I just can't pull the triggers. I can't decide which ones not to get for the cost. But yeah, you got a box of Fierce in, superb. Can't get better. Christmas lunch tomorrow, a couple of weeks early, but do it whenever you like. You could do Christmas lunch at any time of the day. Same as birthday cake. Anyway, yeah, no, Fierce. Love a bit of Fierce. I've got to get back around to them at some point. Fierce were kind of regular in my beer consumption when I was out and about. If I see them on tap somewhere, why is my hat wonky? Yeah, that's better. So my hair's mental at the moment because I got wet to absolutely soaked today. I was inside for most of the day, but I still got wet because I was cleaning. Three fermenters I cleaned out today, and then I stepped outside and it was chucking it down. So I stayed and did something else, and it kind of needed doing, and waited for the rain to stop. And then I started cycling home, and it rained. So yeah, I just got wet all the way around today. To be fair. Oh yeah, I was forget Fierce. Got a bar in Manchester. Yeah, love a bit of Fierce. Need to get up to Aberdeen. Yeah. Big props to Fierce. Love what they do. I've had a fair few of their beers. I did get a box out of them. I think over lockdown. In the end, I did a collab with. They did a coffee stout collab with a New Zealand company, I believe. Yeah, love a bit of Fierce. I tell you what, this one's not. I see Dave Wilson saying I've got some good beers today. None of these are like the other day when I was like on Monday when I had the nitro stouts, I was chucking them down my neck. You know what I mean? And I got an hour in, I'm like, I've pretty much finished the beers. These ones are sippers. Definitely needs thinking about and looking into as you drink it. This one is warming. That's amazing selection of flavours there. Really like it though. I mean, I am biased because I really like Brass Castle. I love what they do. They do a great core range, but they do also do some really random adjuncts, really weird adjuncts, like that Samphire and Lemon Ghost. Yeah, I had on a stream a while back, and that had been sitting in the stash too long. I don't think I've got any other Brass Castle beers in because I say I finished that blueberry one off yesterday. Blueberry, vanilla, and white chocolate dessert pale. Not massively like a dessert, but yeah. That would have worked if I got my camera angles right. But yeah, love what Brass Castle do. I'm losing it. I am losing it. Cheers. Just because we're talking about Fierce, so I've got Fierce Blueberry. Doesn't look like a very fierce blueberry, does it? That'd be a great code. Fierce and Brass Castle. Make it happen. That's what I'm saying. But yeah, going back to this, I don't know what quantities we're talking about in these. Cumin, chili, ginger, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, and black pepper. You could have managed with just any three of those to make a spice ale. But to put that amount of spice into a beer and get this beer out, Brass Castle's artwork is generally pretty good. Like I say, I don't like the vertical can wrap with the beer name because you have to kind of hold it and make sure it don't drip on the laptop and take the photograph. And then they've got some really decent artwork as well. Certainly in this one, I don't know what it's about. Doesn't make any sense to me, and yeah. Should we do the Brass Castle logo and try not to spill it on the thing? Yeah, Brass Castle. If you turn the logo upside down, it's the same. It still says Brass Castle. And I love that. I think it's brilliant. It's an amazing piece of design. I'm not really into art or design that much, but yeah, love Brass Castle, what they do. So yeah, this is the thing is that it's like I'm not a big fan of spice. Chili just blows my taste buds, and I'm just not really like. You're very, very unlikely, if never say never, but I'm not doing no chili challenges. I'm not doing no whatever it is, chili crispy in malarkey, because I just don't like chili that much. It took me a long, long time to get used to chili in food because I come from a background of really bland food. You know, meat and two veg, just my parents or whatever. First time I went to an Indian restaurant, I had ham and cheese omelette and chips because I wasn't used to it. I didn't know. I was like 16 or something with a bunch of mates, and I'm like, I don't like the look of any of this stuff. Like, but then another bunch of mates, we used to go to the Indian restaurant out the road on a Sunday, bizarrely, because they did a good buffet, and I kind of built my tolerance up. So I don't know what chilies they are, but I kind of I've built my tolerance up, but I've only got to a certain level, just medium for preference, slightly above medium, but I can't have a lot, you know. But yeah, chili in a stout, because you've got those dark malts, those chocolate malts, chili and chocolate. And that's why I don't. You got the kingfisher at the start, or your lager at the start of a curry. Or I've gone Indian because that's my general preference. But yeah, I always want to finish on a stout, and you don't get them in Indian restaurants. You should have a dessert beer of a big chocolatey stout, because chili and chocolate just go so well together. The chocolate kind of, it's like the oils or something in the chocolate just round off that chili flavour. So I love it. Have you tried Mexicake from Tempest? No, I haven't. I've seen that one. I've just never got around to it. And I've seen Siren do one, or did one, that Caribbean chocolate cake. A couple of years ago, they did a mole, which is spelt mole, really confusing, but I'm not sure the actual derivation of it. But I tried that one, and that was like, yeah, that balance of chili and chocolate is great. Mexican hot chocolate beer. Yeah. What did I have? I had a Mexican hot chocolate beer. My nose is bunged up again. A cheeky little 10%. A 10% what, sir? I'm only on 7s. I love it. Look at the lacing, though, from a can. Superb. And I don't know what, it's like, as I said about red ales before, with that kind of earthiness, there's none of that here. It's much, much smoother. It's got a definitely smoothie kind of, it's more of an amber ale, more of a ambery golden kind of smoothness without the hoppiness. It doesn't say about hops. I mean, for all that information, it doesn't say what the hops are. You wouldn't need any hops in this beer, because they would just be overawed by all that spice. Yeah, so, well, that's a bit of me. That is a non-hoppy beer. The Mexicake, yeah. Mexicake from Tempest. Yeah, so a cheeky little 10%. Yeah, chili and chocolate, I'm all good with that, as long as the chili doesn't go too much. Again, it has to be about balance. I got to say, I'm enjoying this beer. It's fabulous. So kind of like, yeah, as Dave also said, like, interesting choice of beers, unusual adjuncts, all of it, from Beetroot, Grape, probably less unusual, but you don't see a lot of it. Cherry, you see a lot of cherry stuff, but say the cherry. So they say red grape and cherry, but they also put plum in it to give it that damson note. I don't know why they didn't highlight that, really. And this one, just an absolute. I use the word smorgasbord in beer reviews, probably too much, because I think it's a slightly different descriptor of beer flavors. But this absolutely is an amazing smorgasbord, not mismatch, a hodgepodge of flavors, and so many in there. I think I picked a lot out. I can't believe I didn't get cardamom, having had that cardamom stout earlier. I think there was cinnamon. The cinnamon was the sweetness. I thought there might be ginger for that extra little fieriness against the chili. I guessed at cumin because there was something different, and there's a lot of spices I don't really know a lot about because I don't use them or cook with them or anything. Oh. Aha! Oh, you've tried the Mexicake, superb. Good to change it up. Yeah. You know, I like a bit of different stuff. I don't go for the regular kind of like pale ales very often. I like something different, something unusual. There was a 6.1% NEPA called Huntress from Otherworld. Did we see that one the other day? I don't think we saw that one the other day when I looked at Otherworld, because I had the Otherworld beer. There we go. Icarus, that was interesting with the gooseberry flavour. I thought was kiwi. But yeah, speaking of good artwork, Otherworld have great artwork on their cans. Yes, they do indeed. Can we see it? Oh yeah, can we see it there? That's pretty good. Yeah, like Underworld, we were looking on their website the other day from the on Tuesday. Oh, you got the Otherworld in. Yeah, I look at Otherworld. Again, it's another one, much like Twice Brewed. Have got so much beer at the moment. I think they've got 2 pages on their artwork. 2 pages on their website. Great artwork and some really interesting beer. Something a bit different. Let me check. Actually, I was going to check on. Let me check on Brass Castle whilst we're talking about websites, because I always like the Brass Castle website. Where's this gone? Oh, there it is. Well, there's the brewery. Some big tanks in there. Are you of legal drinking age in your country? You know I am, Brass Castle, because I've ordered from you enough. What a beautiful bunch of brewing humans there. Let's have a quick look about the brewery. History. Brass Castle began life in a garage in Pocklington, East Yorkshire. East Yorkshire, because they're in North Yorkshire now. In Malton. Oh, look at those old bottles there. What does that say? A peat smoked porter. Oh, I missed out on that one. The idea of Brass Castle was born in a Manhattan apartment and on the brewhouse floor of Triumph Brewing in Princeton amid the US craft beer revolution. Bad Kitty was the second, but Bad Kitty is their vanilla porter, which is fabulous. And one I always go back to if I can. Second batch ever brewed in the garage of a Yorkshire house. Don't say how they got from America to Yorkshire, but there you go. Coast Guard shifts. What a hero. And went straight to York Cameron Beer Festival where it won champion local beer. We found out that the local Halifax estate had an old copper brew kit that they functioned once a beer and permission was gained to use it. The Garraby brew house needed a full clean-up and redecoration, but by now Brass Castle had 2 owners rather than just one. Set up in the garage. The hot liquor tank was also the copper and the kettle. Okay. You have to make sure it's empty, I suppose. And the mash tun was also the fermenter. Well, again, it's just a vessel, isn't it? A fair play. That meant 1 brew a week around Coast Guard shifts and a hard-worked brew day. To achieve 5, I can never remember what BBL is. Bet you will get on and brew occasionally at the Goodman Arms plant. Finally, a space was found in Yorkshire's food capital, Morn. And today, superb. Brass Castle set up in Malton in 2014. I think I first had Brass Castle in about 2017, 2018. Gone from strength to strength. Got a tap room in Malton. Let's have a look at the beers because like I say, I really like their lineup usually. It's another one though that I go back to on a regular basis because I like their beers, but also often have too many beers. That's their core range: a Heller's Lager, Pale Ale. I've not tried the Heller's Lager. I need to get that one, and the IPA. There's the Bad Kitty, the vanilla port. I love that, especially on cask. Very rarely see it. And then they just do some random stuff like Lemon and Samphire Ghost had that one, but I think that's the new version. There's the Red Spice Ale, 425 a can. That's a lot of ingredients to get into 425. Fair play. Mountain IPA, I've always given that one a swerve because I don't really agree with Mountain IPA. I have no idea what it is. There's the Green Man I had on a live sometime. Excuse me. Sorry, fucking nose in it. I've never had the Disruptor either. New England style IPA. That's one of my loves. I always go back to Higgy Figgy if I can. Fig, blueberry, and almond porter. That is a fabulous beer. I've had that out about in a wild Piccadilly tap. They also normally, I don't think they've bought one. They're doing an almond and cherry beer. around about this time of year. I should imagine that's coming out soon. But yeah, have they got a history? Because no, they don't. I'd quite like to see. Oh no, I'd like to see a history of like beers are out of stock. Just put them into a separate section on the website of like, this is what we have done, so that you can go back to them and go, please brew that again. Slurpee, good to see you, sir. Thanks for popping in. These are 3 very different beers that you may or may not love. Well, there you go. Bass Castle Bad Kitty Pour on cask is a banger. You're not wrong. And I tell you what, I didn't see what they normally do, and it was on the website last week, but I think they've sold out, is the Christmas Bad Kitty, which is the, obviously, like cinnamon and various Christmas spices version of that. I was going to pick some. I was thinking of picking some of that up and never got around to it. So might have to look on Trembling Madness for that. But yeah, I love Bass Castle. This one is very strange, slurpy, but it's a red ale, kind of. But yeah, cumin, chili, ginger, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves, and black pepper. What a combination! Loving the work. Lovely lacing on the glass. Fabulous. Really, yeah, really different, spicy. Got that chili heat, peppery heat as well. Superb. I don't do bruiser myself, Stu. I do enjoy a bruiser box. My last one was Arbor. Lovely pint-sized cans, taking me ages to finish. Yeah, love a pint-sized can. And Arbor's another one I've got to get back to on that gingerbread stout. I set this time next year, Rodney. Love it. Yeah, I don't do bruiser because all I do, rather than do bruiser, it's a subscription service, and there's not enough choice of what I want to buy, so I just go to the brewery direct, and I can't get a subscription a month. I try not to do more than one order a week. I try not to do one order a month because I'm still doing a lot of drinking at home, especially for the channel, and I've got to get out more, get more places at some point. But yes, I don't do bruiser. I'm still stuck on Beer 52, but I generally cancel it. I think I'm gonna have to cancel that next week. But yeah, I don't do subscription services because I just go to breweries and get beers I actually want. Because even in things like bruiser, you get a bunch of pale ales, probably a session pale ale, and I'm like, yeah, that's great. But every brewery's got that kind of thing. So I'm not against it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not slagging it off or blah, blah, blah. But yeah, it just doesn't work for me. And even then, that said, as we saw at the start of the show, if you go back and watch, I've done the McColls unboxing, and there's a couple of beers in there that I kind of just put on that, like even the pale ale, I put it on because I got mugged into that Black Friday thing and just made up the amount. I think I got to 51 quid to trigger the free delivery, which is why I've got 3 of those fest beers, because I put another one on because it was like 350. I was a bit short, and I'm like, I'm kind of mugging the brewery off here a little bit, but they offer it. They've offered 40% discount, so and whatever the delivery, the courier delivery. To be fair, it's a pretty good courier delivery. I put the order in. Actually, put the order in Thursday night, like about 12:01, because it was for Black Friday. It was only on Friday, and I knew they wouldn't dispatch it on the Friday, so it got dispatched on the Monday and arrived Tuesday afternoon. So I was fine with that. To be fair, fortunately I was here because I wasn't working on a Tuesday. But yeah, so I put a couple of those beers on there. So even when I do orders direct from breweries, I feel that I have to kind of make the order up to make something good. Like sometimes if I'm like getting a disco beer in, I'll just get the bare minimum, get like a 6-pack and a few other beers, depending on how much they've got. But if it's for somebody like Bass Castle, or if it's somebody like Twice Brewed, I'm getting that beer. I'll get all the others that I want, But yeah, I can't really do Bruiser or Fuss Club or any of the other ones, which is the same reason that I don't, come Christmas, I don't do Advent calendar beers, because there's always going to be something bang average in there that they got to fill it out with. So for Christmas, I just buy the beers I want to drink. I'm a funny old bugger like that, I suppose. I would definitely buy this beer again. Oh, fuck. There's got to be something going wrong in the Rasco Disco stream. Bouncing beer cans. But yeah, fantastic lineup today, to be fair. Vanessa Key, thanks for popping in. Good to see you. Kind of at the end of the stream now, but thank you anyway. Good to see you. Hey, when I have to fill in to make it worth, I do and I don't. I mean, like, it's very rare that I'm putting beers in just for the sake of it, because if there's nothing else I want to do, I'll just do a 6-pack. It's kind of mugs the brewery off, but I mean, you've got a different situation where you are and you shark, so you have to order 4s each time, but I can just order 6 beers. I mean, technically I can just order 1 can if I want just 1 can or something, but I'm not going to do that because it's just not worth it for the brewery. I'll do 6. I think they'll just about make money on it, you know. But you pay for the delivery here, so it's going to be a £5 for delivery, so that's pops £1 a can on a 6-pack almost. You have to order a case of beer. A mixed case, like what, a case of like 12? Like I can just about do that, depending on how much they've got. But there are some breweries that are only doing cases. Like I was chatting to James the other day at Conway, and I'm like, I can do a mixed case, but even on a mixed case, there's always something I don't want to drink. I like it when breweries do a build your own box. I can just about get to 12. If there's enough there. So yeah, it's difficult, but again, never complain about the price. 6 4-packs. 6 4-packs. You have to do 24 beers of a case. I mean, that's not as bad as also, like say some breweries here make you do 6-packs and we'll have a mixed case, but there'll always be something I don't want 6 of. 6 4-packs. 4's not so bad, but yeah, that is tough because you're being forced to kind of spend more, aren't you? That's tough. I can order 4 beers, but I'm paying. Right? Yeah. So if you're paying for shipping, you want to get. I've just kicked the bloody camera. Oh, never mind. Doesn't really matter this time. Right. Yeah, it's difficult, but see, this is all new to me. Well, in the last 4.5 years, I've been ordering cans at home. So, yeah, still got a lot. But it's been good. This has been a really good stream tonight. It was 3 really good beers, an unboxing. This is it. I wonder how hot this is. Beetroot hot sauce off this beer compared to this. I'm not gonna open it. That's a little wax top, isn't it? For a hot sauce. This one's dripped all the way down the side. Right, so it's how interesting these beers. I've had 3 beers and I've got 3/4 of the way down all of them. So at least I've got something to go back to. I've got to check. Thanks as always, everybody, for popping in. Superstar Shark, thanks very much indeed. Very kind of you to say. David Wilson, thanks for the reminders and chiming in with the beer chats. Thanks to everybody. Thanks to once again to everybody who's got us over the 500 subs this week. I'll put a post out there about some point. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks if you're watching after the event. Please do let us know if you are, because the algorithm loves a good comment after the event. Put it down there in the comments box afterwards. Let us know you watch, what beers you liked, which beers are these you fancy, because these are 3 random beers. A beetroot beer de Garde, a oaked red grape and cherry ale, and a spiced red ale featuring cumin, chili, ginger, cardamom, cinnamon, cloves and black pepper. I just like reading that list. It's a hell of a list. Thanks to everybody who's watching once again. And probably the last stream of the week for me, unless I get anything over the weekend. I doubt it, because I'm up the brewery. Hope you guys all have a good weekend and have some great beer. And as always, until the next time, cheers and enjoy the beers. I'll be Disco Rasco and Disco Beer Review. Check the outro.